The world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Hello everybody, I'm Lady Cheryl. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this episode, I'm going to give you a quick update on my pepper plants, my tomato plants, and my squash plants. Now, if you've been following me, you will know that I grew all of my plants in this video from seeds. I start the plants from seeds in my grow room in January. However, there are a few plants that I have had for several years, and I'll show you which ones I've had for a while. Okay, let's get started. Hello, gardeners. I want to share my pepper plants with you. I have a lot of them growing in the greenhouse, but I want to show you these two that are outside. And this one will be a year old in August. I started it from seeds. I'm going to go in a little closer so you can see the peppers. It's loaded with peppers. Like I said, I started last July. I'm in zone 8A in Mesquite, Texas. And there are a lot of peppers on the other side, and I grew this pepper plant in my greenhouse all winter long. And let's turn it around so that you can see some of the peppers on the other side, right there and there and there and there. And I want you to know that I have this in a 5-gallon bucket, and I only have 2 drainage holes, one here and one here, because in North Texas, we're going to be getting up into the upper 90s. So I have to give them a lot of water. So what I do is I have a plan. I keep a little reservoir right here at the bottom of water, and I have to water it daily. If I don't, the peppers try to fall off in the leaves. Now let's move over to this pepper plant, and I want to share with you that this plant is 3 years old. And it's a California Wonder. And this one is 2. This plant right here is 2, but this one is 3 years old, and the peppers turn a dark chocolate-like color, and then it starts to turn a bright red. In about another 3 days, these will be ripe. Some of them are smaller as the weather has gotten warmer, and I was able to move them outside. The peppers, as you can see here, are getting larger. But it doesn't matter to me, because as long as they taste good, that's all that's important. Now I want to share with you that this pot has cracked, and you can see the roots coming out here. So I'm going to wait until winter, and then I'm going to repot this one in a large container. I'm going to bring it back into the greenhouse and see that if I can keep it for another year. But I usually just start seeds in January and, plant the peppers outside in March. But somebody told me to try growing it in your greenhouse, and you'll see that the peppers will be more prolific each year. And I have to agree with them. I don't have to do anything but maybe prune the top of it off when it stops producing. I just cut it back about 3 feet. I cut it like all the way down to here. And then it put on all that new growth as the weather got warmer. And I only had to heat my greenhouse a few nights last winter because we had an unusually warm winter. And so for those of you that are concerned that you may have a high utility bill, that's not true. I just put a very small heater in here, and it heats up a 10 by 20 feet, 7 feet tall greenhouse. Okay. Here are the peppers in my pepper place. They're doing pretty good. I just watered them. So they'll stand back up in a few minutes. And as you can see here, the marigolds are not doing very well here because of so much rain, but they're starting to come back now, so they're going to be okay. And I will bring you an update real soon. You can see all of the emergency garden food on the stands and tables back there have been distributed to the people who were supposed to receive them. So everything is going pretty good. Okay, guys, I pulled up this tomato plant, harvested all of the tomatoes, and I'm happy to report that there are no knotted roots. Now, I'll insert a picture of the knotted roots that were in this bed in the fall of last year in the winter when I harvested my greens. Here are the tomatoes I harvested today. The ones in the basket back right there. I'm gonna look through them. Some of them don't look too good, but you guys know I've been fighting root rot because of the flash floods that we received over 3 weeks in a row with no stop in the rain. And yeah, so I've been harvesting tomatoes and putting them in the freezer every day. And today I decided just to go ahead on and pull 2 plants up. These are absolutely gorgeous and they're very heavy. I'm gonna have some fried green tomatoes today. Another beautiful, I mean, this is heavy, guys. Oh, I'm groaning from reaching over, not because of the weight. That's a gorgeous heirloom tomato. I believe this is the emerald green. Another big, juicy, heavy tomato. That's gonna make a good fried green tomato. Now, these will ripen right on my dining room table. They will not lose sweetness. Tomatoes are one of the few fruits that don't lose the sugar content in them while they're ripening. Yeah, it's a little one, but it's okay. All of these ones that are turning blush, they will be red by, today is Thursday, they will be red by Friday. Yep, that's a beautiful heirloom zinnia. And let me reach over and get this tomato. This was gonna be lunch. This will be lunch today. This is gorgeous. This weighs about 2 or 3 pounds. It's very heavy. My scale, my kitchen scale is broke. I may put it on the regular digital scale and let you see. Very hearty, meaty tomato. Okay, just wanted to share that with you today. I'll put the big ones in the front because they are going to be eaten up fast. But I want to share with you, I still have 4 tomato plants. If you've been following me for a while, you know it's getting hot down here. It's going to be 95 degrees today. I think it's going to be 97 or 98 by Saturday. And tomatoes will no longer flower. Let me show you something. These are flowers that dried up. My nails are dirty because I've been playing in dirt. But yeah, these are flowers that dried up. They will not bloom. Tomato plants would not bloom or produce any flowers in extreme heat. If it's 88 on up in my area, I won't get any more flowers. However, they can continue to ripen on the vine, but the roots were very weak because they were suffering from root rot because of too much rain. Not blight, root rot. So I pulled them up, and the ironic thing is all of the roots of those 2 plants that I pulled up look fabulous because I had non-beneficial nematodes that cause a fungus which would let those small microscopic insects chew on the roots and spread a fungus, and your plants start drooping over. And this is what happened to the okra and eggplant and tomatoes that were in that same garden bed last year around this time. So I planted some greens. I sowed all types of greens, kale, collards, turnips, mustard spinach. And I grew that, and then when I pulled those up, it still had knotted root. So I rested the bed. I added crab legs, crushed crab legs that you get from Amazon. It's expensive, about $63. And then I planted marigolds. a lot of marigolds because they kill that nematode.
Treating the beds for the nematode problem worked because after I added the cracked crab shells and let the bed rest during the winter, and then I planted about 40 marigold seedlings, and like I said, it worked because I didn't see any evidence of knotted root.
Okay. Fried green tomatoes, here we come.
We still have quite a few tomatoes in this garden bed, and I'm gonna bring it in a little closer so you can see them. Right there, and there, and all the way around here, and it's getting a little too warm. So as you can see here, these blooms have died back, and they're not going to produce because we are in the 90s, and we will be in the upper 90s in a couple of days. I'm going to go around to the other side and show you. As you can see here, we have lots of tomatoes still to harvest. I mean, they are down here, guys. They're all the way down here. Can you see them? Big, huge tomatoes. There's 4 right here. See that? 3, there's 4 right here. It's a lot. In the next few days, these will all be pulled up and taken off the vine to ripen in the house. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Tomatoes are one of the few fruits that won't lose their sweetness, and they will continue to get sweeter while they are ripening inside. Okay, but it's just too hot. I will be able to have a second crop of tomatoes. They will go in the ground in September. Some people say, well, why don't you clone? Sometimes I do, but I find that if I just start new ones from seeds that have never been in any type of stress, they work better for me. Now, let's move on to my squash plants. Here's some squash, and this bed is doing good because it's being shaded by the magnolia tree. I transplanted these. I kept them in full sun. This one's doing good. This one's doing good because it's been out here for a few days. And this one. But here, and here, these are not doing really well. I'm getting ready to go put a shade cloth on top of them, and I'll be back and show you what I did. How I shaded this group of grow boxes, and I'll come out and make it neater and cut it off this afternoon, but it's just too hot right now, and I'm getting overheated. The 2 squash plants, one blue hubbard and one small little butternut squash that I planted with the corn, is doing well, and it's shaded under the gazebo, but eventually it'll go out. And squash plants in the corn bed here, they are doing well. I also want to share with you the blue hubbard squash and the butternut squash that was transplanted into this large raised garden bed in the greenhouse is doing wonderful. Zinnias just about died back, but they will succeed until the first frost. Now, ordinarily, I would be harvesting squash by now, but I want you guys to remember that I have enough squash in the freezer, and I have a lot of peppers in the freezer, as well as some are stored because I canned them. But I wanted to, give some food away this year because of the pandemic. And I decided to do this at the last minute for my emergency garden, and this food will be donated. So that's the reason why I haven't harvested any squash yet. Okay. Okay, guys, it's late in the evening. Got my mask on because of allergies. And I came out here to take the shade cloth off of the squash. I'm going to show you. A little filter sun. I took the shade cloth off. And then when I looked over here, I noticed that all of the tomato plants were leaning over and drooping real bad. And so I said, why wait another day? And I went ahead and harvested them. And I'll take you over here and show them. So here they are, not to be confused with the ones in the house. These are just freshly harvested, and they are some nice tomatoes. Now I'm harvesting them early because of root rot. And when they start blushing like that, just a matter of days, and they will be ripe, like this one. So I'll just put these on the dining room table. A lot of people put them in the windowsill. I've done that before, but they ripen just as fast through the my patio doors because it's a lot of sunlight that comes through there, and I don't have a curtain. I just have frosted glass. So I'm going to put these in the basket, take them in the house, and I'll add them with the other ones, and I'll show you. Okay, so that we don't get confused, this is what I showed you earlier, and I just moved the tomatoes out of this basket, and I put the new ones that I just harvested. I hope they don't fall on the floor, so I can show you. I think the basket scratched my table. I've had it since 1992. So I'm just showing you all the tomatoes. And I didn't lose one tomato to a worm, a hornworm, a cabbage worm, or a tomato being pecked on by a bird. So, and I didn't plant that many because I have a whole lot of pasta sauce and tomato paste and whole stewed tomatoes and did I say spaghetti sauce, pasta sauce? Yeah. And juice to make V8. So I'm happy. So I thought I had ended my video, but when I went outside to take the shade cloth on, I said, let me get these. So all of these have just been harvested, and those were harvested back there this morning. So I'll wash them off, put them on a towel, and let them sit here for a few days. And you'll see, I'll show you in another video or post how ripe they're gonna get so quick. Beautiful tomatoes. Look at that. I mean, it's heavy. But yeah, I'm pleased. This concludes this video. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and tell your friends about my channel. God loves you and I love you too. Thank you for watching. Bye now.
The end.